Hey guys, it's Melanie Hinds, your fastest IRAQI dinar summary on the net. My husband left early, so I figured I would get this summary done and then we can have some fun at 5 Eastern time when we're going to do this. So I'm going to get this done as soon as possible. Guys, I've told you this on all the little shorts I did. It might not have sounded like much, but the fact that Baghdad and KRG strike a deal on salaries and oil is a big flipping deal. All that's left is for them to start pumping the oil, and then the HCL will be kicked out, those payments to the citizens of those areas that qualify. So that was a big article, and I mentioned it on every single thing, and you go, there's no news. Well, you obviously didn't listen to whenever I said it. Yeah, I had a crazy day going on, so just give me some grace, would you? That would be nice. The next article was the Prime Minister visits Al-Rabin Emergency Hospital in Mosul that they've completely rehabilitated. He's everywhere now. The Civil Service Council announces the opening of the job code system for top graduates and certificate holders. That's a big deal for people coming out of university. The Prime Minister tours the Saray Market in downtown Mosul. He talks to the citizens to find out what they need so he can fund those resources. He's a man of the people. Also, Migration announces the launch of 2 pivotal strategies for the reintegration of returning Iraqis. There are people that want to return to their home country now that it's in such better shape and it's not war-torn. The Ministry of Education announces the launch of applications for the Distinguished Employees Acceptance Channel. They're looking for people to be nominated, I guess. The next article, it's hard. Guys, there were so much summaries this morning. I did a 2-hour live stream and talked about it. The Kurdistan Regional Government welcomes the new understanding with Baghdad regarding employee salaries and financial dues. That was kind of the precursor to their salary and oil deal that they signed. Then the petroleum products, gasoline prices will remain stable and unchanged. They confirmed that they will remain unchanged. Minister of Interior, we expect 5 million foreign visitors to participate in the Arbarn, I don't know what the name is, Arbarn pilgrimage, which I think happened today. Iraqi eyes industrial revival through legislation and foreign investment. I did a deeper dive on this on my live stream this morning. I didn't get the timestamps done because I needed a break, guys. Anyways, it just seems like their primary things are to safeguard domestic production and the establishment of fully serviced industrial cities. And I talked about that. So you tell me whether you think that's good or not. The next article, OPEC, stronger economy to boost oil demand in half. They are much stronger than they used to be. Again, oil edges higher on summer demand hopes from the U.S. and China. They also talked about, in the article I read about everything, all the global oil population, people that buy oil and export oil and import oil. Dollar prices drop and at Baghdad and oil. It's been dropping continuously for 5 days. That's what we want because it's illegal to use the U.S. dollars on the Iraqi streets. Then the Prime Minister, if he didn't do enough, today he inaugurated the Mosul International Airport, which is up and running now, or it's, I don't know. I did all the details this morning, and it's been a long time since this morning. The next article is Oil Minister, Iraq contributed to the stability of global markets and the cohesion of OPEC's decision. That was amazing. They are highly regarded by all the big organizations like the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the Bank of International Settlements. They're all very impressed with Iraq, and that's why everybody's waiting for their currency to revalue. There was an article here about Trump. Zelensky should not target Moscow. He was very clear he does not want, he wants to stop the killing. Whether you like him or not, that's my take on what he wants. The next article is Saleen Al-Din governor. The rehabilitation project of Street 60 in Tikrit will contribute to easing traffic congestion. It was very detailed about how that traffic circle, they call it Street 60, is very important, and they are rehabbing it. The Ministry of Health sets the goals of the National Nutrition Strategy for 2025 to 2027. They want their population healthy. And then they strengthened its rank with a striker and renews the contract of its defender. Those are their footballer teams, if they call it football there. You know what I mean. I think you know what I mean. I don't even know what I mean, guys. I have been busy. There were evidently, right as I was getting off my live stream, he said there were more. I said, I got to go. Because we had so much going on here at the house, and you probably heard about it because I did videos on it. The next is we look and see what everybody else says, and it's been 4:46. This is a good time to look at what everybody else says. So you get the summaries that most people love. I get more views on these summaries than anything, but we will be live at 5 for a pre-RV celebration. Why? Because I believe you should celebrate everyday life, and I do that on my channel when I have the time, and I happen to have the time because my husband's doing a on-water demonstration class. He took his boat, not his new one, but his new boat, another boat, one of his newer boats, but he upgraded. So anyways, my husband's a gearhead, and I support him in all of his activities because he's in that boat most of the summer, so he needs to be comfortable. So now today, what did everybody else say? Frank26 said, community comment, the IMF just posted Iraq is not going to do anything with their exchange rate next year or the year after. We're screwed. They're never going to raise the value. Did you also see where the IMF posted Iraq is going through a revaluation of their currency right now? Which one are you going to accept? Frank, I love the way you did that. I love the way you did that. Guys, everybody can see the glass is half full or half empty. How do you see it? I'm always been optimistic. I'm a happy, optimistic person. Fun Lou says, response to Mark Z's 715 post, the mad rush in banking software updates is because the new messaging system, FedNow, is digitized. So is Iraqi dinar. Oh, FedNow is digitized. I heard some of that, but I didn't have the articles. I focus on what's going on in Iraq. The mad rush in banking software updates is because the new messaging system, FedNow, is digitized and ISO 222 compliant. That's amazing for America. Again, anybody, if this is the clean bank, anybody connecting with Iraq's new digitized state-of-the-art world bank approved digital financial system needs to be just as clean as a straw. That's what they're doing in the U.S. banks under everybody's noses while everybody's worried about everything else. So it says, is digitized and ISO 222 compliant, and many changes must be made to comply with these new regulations. The decline was yesterday, 7/14. These changes have nothing to do with what the mythical, magical QFS, quantum financial state, which does not exist, cannot exist, and is nothing new but dinar and mythology. That's Fun Lou. He thinks Mark Z is full of it, I guess. I don't think Mark Z is full of anything. We've been seeing the digital transformation in Iraq, and we have guys on Iraq that's been witnessing it. The interpreter is about to get a new home loan because of it. We got so much evidence. Fun Lou can wax negative lately. I don't know why. Militiaman, everybody's ready to do business in Iraq. Now we're waiting to see if we can get this over the edge at any time now. We're hoping the resolution comes out of the oil deal with the Kurds and Baghdad. It's all budget related. The court case they postponed is effectively budget related because Article 12 to 2C is an amendment for the 2023-24 budget. Before the parliament gets those 2025 budget schedules, that's what we're looking for. That's Militiaman. I always appreciate him. Claire, Congress votes on an amendment to ban funding for Iranian organizations in Iraq. I don't know what she's reading because we just read it, whatever. The U.S. House Republican Armed Services Committee announced on Wednesday its passage of an amendment introduced by Representative Joe Wilson to the National Defense Authorization to prohibit funding for Iranian-linked organizations in Iraq. Wilson is known for his anti-Iranian stance and has previously called for making Iraq great again and for ending Iranian control over the country, following his previous calls to halt funding for Iraq. Depends on what you think. Remember, God said, don't worry about the banks. It's going to be messy. Take the money and run. Frank26, again, this was probably because he's at night, so there's 2 postings from him today, just to clarify. It says, economist on TV, he was talking all day and was talking about how Iran is losing its grip on Iraq. Frank says, that's the security and stability we've all dreamed about. Frank, you're absolutely right. He's telling you the truth about your monetary reform. It can be born with a new exchange rate because Iran is no longer in control. Sudani is in control. Donald Trump is in control. Iran knows that. Mark Z, again, this was 2 posts. I'm going to do this because I didn't do this yesterday, so it may run 10 or 11 minutes. He goes, I received this one a few days ago. I walked into a regional bank and asked the teller if this location had a De La Rue machine. Don't ever do that if you're one of my clients, but whatever, she did. She quickly passed me on to the bank manager. The manager scooted me into her office and closed the door. She asked why I would be needing one, and I said I would be participating in the upcoming currency exchanges and wondered if your tellers were trained. She said they were getting a DLR machine from for this location, but only herself and her backup manager would be facilitating exchanges. She never asked what currencies I had. I've never offered that information. That is smart. Good job. She did say that when the time comes, either herself or her assistant could travel to me to take care of my transactions. I turned down that offer saying I wanted to be treated like everyone else. That's one of two. Then they followed up, and this is the second set. A couple weeks went by, and I popped into a teller window to do my normal banking. I asked if the bank manager was in and was told that she was at lunch. As I was leaving, the teller told the bank manager was coming out to speak with you. She explained that all the tellers had been told to let them know if I came in looking for them. The bank manager arrived, and I was red-faced at having made her leave her plate to answer an insignificant question. No matter how I try, they will not treat me like everyone else. This is a true testimony that even now some tier 3 regional banks are aware of the upcoming reset and will be taking part in the exchanges. I thought that was very good. I thought it was very hopeful, especially for us who live in areas where the 3 big banks are not available. So this gives you hope, does it not? But again, if you have my 3 steps, you know exactly what I'm referring to. You got to make sure they abide by those, they have those procedures in place. Not just, we can do it, right? Because I mean, I'm just saying, they should. Anyways, whatever. Get on my live at 5 if you have questions about this. I did this before I even showered. I really want to shower before I go live at 5. I don't know if I'll have time because I got so many negative comments that I was referring to when I was going to do whatever. I don't care. Guys, negativity begets negativity. I'm not going to go there. I love you all. This is my baby that I love. She's my queen of my household. I still love her despite her errors. Bye.